All right. Hello, everybody. We are back for week 10 of shift tracking for our local real estate market in Burlington, Camden, and Gloucester counties for our 900,000 and under. And this week, as you can see over here on the right-hand side, we have a number of records that we're getting close to with our couple categories that we're reviewing. So today's going to be a little bit of a shorter video. Today is actually my birthday, so I'm going to stop recording real estate statistics videos and I'm going to go enjoy the day a little bit. But before we get into that, let's talk about what we do see. So the first things first is that our total active listings between the three counties, it's the lowest it's been all year. Here's what I want to highlight. Since week 2 of this year to week 10, we have lost 20% of the available homes for sale. We have lost 20% of all available listings since week 2, right? So that second week of January to here we are the first week of March. That is the free fall that I have been afraid of. What a lot of this is bearing itself out to be is that 80% of homeowners have an interest rate under 4%. That's a lot. Now, there might be a little bit of differences there in the exact amount, but the true nature of it is that there are a lot of people who do not want to sell their home because they're in a favorable interest rate. And if they were to actually go and sell their home and buy a new one, they would be in a much less favorable interest rate. That's what's hurting a lot of these listings that are sitting a little bit longer than they probably should. But what else do we have that's looking on here? So we did see that our new listings is actually the second highest that we've had all year, only beaten out by what we had last week, which is great. I'm super happy to see that there are more listings coming on the market. But once again, we were outpaced by 20 listings this week from the ones that went under contract, the pending column, right? We're at 317. We're at 317 for our pending column and only 297 for our new actives. This trend has happened almost every single week except for 2, where there's more properties coming off than are coming on. I sound like a broken record, but that's what we've been trying to track here in this shift is what is happening. What's happening to our available listings? What's happening to all this? And eventually, what's going to start happening to prices? Now you can see this past week was the second highest median list price that we've had all year, only beaten out by the very first week, and that was $100 higher. $100, that's it. It's the only difference. So we're basically back at the highest median price that we've had all year. If this continues, we are going to see this kind of stay where it's at and maybe even go up. Right now, there isn't a huge market factor in these counties. Let me say that again. There's not a huge market factor in these counties that's going to have prices continue to slide backwards. That's the kicker. Now, other areas of the country, your Texas, your Californias, your Nevadas, your Floridas, some of these areas where new construction is really going on and these huge price increases, and then they've all had to come back down to earth, that's a very different story. And what we're trying to do again in this video series is contrast what's happening here, what's happening in the areas that we live versus what's happening there. We see that our volume is basically the lowest that it's been all year. The median days on market is the lowest. The average days on market is tied for the lowest. So we have some new listings, but we still don't have a super high volume for total available, and that's reflective in our lowest total active listings. Our days on market are shrinking again because it's just getting faster and faster and faster in the spring market. And we're seeing so many buyers, 3-day rule. You got to see it. You got to know about it. You got to offer it at 3 days. You're waiving contingencies again. The amount of as-is offers that I've submitted here over this past week and a half, 2 weeks is almost all of them, right? So we're waiving a lot of those contingencies. Our closed are still pretty high and our price reductions are still pretty low. So all of this is saying we're still just very tight. We're just very tight with everything. If you're a seller, now's a pretty good time to sell. And yes, you do need to consider what you're going to do on your purchase. But I want to put some things out there that you can consider. What about a 2-1 buy down, where we can get a seller concession on your purchase that it basically hits your closing costs, and we can take that number and apply it to a rate buy down over those years. We're able to help the monthly payment out and things like that. What about shopping your interest rate and asking for a free refi in the next 24 months? Have you thought about that? You can. You can say, hey, I'm going to be shopping between a couple of different lenders, and what I'm looking for is a lender who's going to be willing to give me a free refinance within 24 months of my purchase. Are you able to offer that or not? I think we're all allowed to be a little bit more discerning in who we sort of use for our mortgage programs and our rates. Now, I work with 2 lenders that are equally really good, and they're also really aggressive. And I know that they'll match a lot of offers that you get, and a lot of times they beat the offers that I see people that from other companies bring, and that's why I use them regularly. I'm always happy to make those introductions if anybody needs it. But there are things you can do on the purchase side to attack that interest rate. We can do it through seller's concessions. We can do it through a number of different ways. So anyway, that's it for week 10 shift tracker. Week 11, what I'm hoping to see, bring those active listings up a bit, cool that pending down just slightly, because those interest rates are still high. And this is why we haven't flipped the total active, or the new listing and pendings. Once we can get these to flip a little bit, where now we have more coming on the market that's coming off, then I would expect to see the Fed consider dropping those interest rates. But until then, this is the life we live. See you next week. Bye.